Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wine Down. Woo! Here we are. It's Friday, so we're going to drink some wine and we're going to talk about some interesting topics, right?
Yeah, we've got some interesting things.
They're interesting.
First we can talk about college savings plans.
Yeah, this kind of applies to both of us because we both have young kids. How did I do?
Impressive. That seems like a good full glass.
Well, last week I really gave you a full glass. I was trying to be a little less generous because I didn't want. Okay, it looks good.
It
looks good, everyone.
It's good.
Again, pouring on camera. It's a little nerve-wracking. Okay, here we are. Cheers. College education. Here we go. Now I'm ready.
That's good.
Now I'm ready to talk all the money that we're going to be paying
and setting aside.
Yes. Yeah, it is a little bit overwhelming when on Your Money, Your Wealth, Joe and Al, they brought up the fact that the average cost of college is around $50,000 a year.
Right now. And college tuition rates have tripled in 20 years. So 20 years ago, when our parents, if they were planning to save for our college, were planning at a very different rate.
So we're looking at close to 20 years from now that our kids will be going to college, so it might triple.
Yeah, they're saying, I thought it was a really interesting statistics. They said that the average cost of tuition has raised 6% every single year, and on an average over the last 20 years. Hence higher than inflation. So inflation rates have been much lower than that, but it's the cost of college tuition has inflated itself over the past. And, a great education is worth it. So there's been some actually interesting articles this week that I've read that have come out about questioning the fact if certain majors at certain institutions might be worth the investment. Because coming out of college, you might be getting only paid $19,000 after spending $200,000 on a degree. And you clearly aren't going to be able to pay off your student loans, or maybe their parents have prepaid or, had planned for that investment. But it is interesting these days that there is some questioning about whether getting a college degree in certain majors is worth it.
People say that all the time about the industry that I'm in for musical theater. It's kind of a long-running joke that everyone has. They're like, why did I get this degree? It hasn't helped me in any way, and now I'm just paying it off. And, do I really need that to go into musical theater a degree,
Right.
So I completely can relate to that. I did not get mine. So maybe that was a good thing. I don't know. Who knows?
But back to what Joe and Al were saying, which I thought it was really interesting. I didn't realize that there were multiple ways you could save for your child's education.
Oh yeah, I definitely did not know.
I only knew about the 529 plan.
Yep,
because
that's what my husband and I have.
We opened one when our daughter was born.
Yeah.
Seems like we need to be putting more money into it, which I learned.
Definitely. I know that was scary when you broke down the numbers and added everything up. I was like, well, how bad could it be if we're starting at 7 months old? But actually, it's still pretty bad.
It's a big chunk of change that you're saving for.
It really is. And not to say that you have to pay for all of it, but to make a dent, it would be nice to make a decent dent so she doesn't have to worry about it down the,
Right.
Because I watch all of my friends still stressing, well in their 30s, trying to pay off college debt.
Yeah. I finally paid mine off this year, which felt very nice.
Cheers!
Yep.
That's a big deal.
All 3 loans, all done.
That's amazing.
I felt very proud.
Congratulations. That is huge.
Yeah, it felt really nice.
Did you go celebrate?
I think I had a glass of wine, so I'll have another glass or 2.
Well, that's really impressive. Congratulations.
And my parents helped me pay for college, so it wasn't, that I was paying for it all on my own, but still to supplement and make sure it was, and it took a long time to pay it off.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly.
Right.
I'm not revealing how old I am on this show, but it took a long time.
Took a while, folks. It took a while. That's why learning about savings plans are so important.
Yep.
As are all these topics, right? It's like, I didn't realize until I started working on this channel all of the things that I wasn't prepared for, which is a little overwhelming.
Right.
Because it really takes time to, gain the knowledge that you need to approach so many of these situations in a way that is going to be beneficial to you. And so taking that time when you have a kid and a house and a husband, it's hard.
Yeah.
But we're doing it. We have the 529
There you go.
plan. So we're starting somewhere, and we're doing the whole, at least for the first couple of years of her life, before she really understands presents and stuff.
Yep.
We're telling our family to just invest in her college and, just do that for now. And we can just wrap toilet roll for the first few years, and she'll have a field day. She'll love it.
Yeah. Or the box. She's just going to want the box.
Just wrapping paper, a box, and then she can just rip it apart and create a mess. And
Exactly.
that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And we're building her college tuition at the same time.
Exactly. That's what we did too, because we also had a small apartment, and
Yeah.
so we just didn't have the space for a lot of toys, which was our excuse.
Right.
And it was great. And still, even for her Christmas list this year, it's the top thing
Yes.
on her Christmas list, aka the one that I put out.
Right. She will be happy someday, though. She will be thanking you someday when she's not paying off.
She'll get enough other things, and she is at that point where she kind of gets the whole present situation, but it's still going to be much more about opening it all up versus like what's inside.
Absolutely.
So she's not going to miss it if somebody doesn't get her a physical gift. And to your point, an investment in her education is much more helpful.
Absolutely. She might not realize it now or 5 years or 10 years from now, but she will eventually.
Yeah.
When she's 30 something.
Exactly. She doesn't have to be paying off her debts. Still.
Exactly. I actually had when I was little, that was when Beanie Babies were like super popular. So I have a ton of Beanie Babies that were at my mom's house, and I had her send them all to me. And my plan is I'm just going to wrap them individually and have her just open those for the next 6-7 years.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're in great condition,
Well, they're in mint condition because you thought you were going to make a lot of money off of them.
That's true. That's true. What happened with that?
Well, the market folded on that.
It sure did. Like tickle me Elmo. What's going on there? What can I get for that, huh? I don't know.
So what I thought was really interesting is that Joe and Al were super supportive of the 529 plan.
Yay!
Yeah.
I feel like I made a good choice. Thanks, Joe and Al.
I mean, there's certainly some cons to it. You do have to use the money you set aside or the beneficiary, or you can change the beneficiary. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So if you have a kid who decides not to go to college, you can change the beneficiary to be a different child or
that's good.
yourself.
Yes.
If you want to go back to school.
Right.
But you would pay penalties if you just pull the money out and it's not used for education.
Right. That's where I get a little bit nervous because my husband is British, and so we aren't completely sure where we might end up, or what we might do. So we are a little worried about the penalties involved. But, we'll see. We'll figure it out, hopefully.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. But I do think I didn't realize that there were actually other options.
Right.
Like there's the Coverdale plan, which seems like it has a little bit more drawbacks in terms of you can only put in so much money a year.
Right.
It is dependent on your income. There's a lot of more restrictions on those. And then you can prepay tuition.
I know this whole thing. I mean, who can commit to that? That is like
Your child.
That is a parent that is like, this is where you're going to school.
Right.
This is what you'll be doing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why the option is there for them because they're getting your money right away.
Right.
And
there are benefits that if you...
Yes, they give incentives, of course.
You get it at the current rate. So college is $50,000 a year right now, give or take, whatever.
Assuming it
goes up to $100,000 by the time your child is actually...
At least.
Oh, gosh, please don't.
I know.
By the time your child is actually in school, it is a great idea.
That's
but
true.
if your child decides not to go to that school, you're only making 2% at the most on your money back when you get it back.
Right.
Whereas if you put it in the market or you invest it,
Yeah.
you can typically make a higher rate of return on your money,
Right.
which is why a 529 might be a better plan for
Well, here's
you.
hoping.
Yeah.
Because we've done it.
Right?
It happened. Yep.
It's there. It's open.
Yep. Just trying to be adults, you know? We're just trying so hard to be adults here.
Yep.
We have some other a little more complicated topics that we're going to attempt to dive into. But it is interesting as well what's going on with options trading in the market right now, the incentives that are being put out there, and how that is affecting people, because it's drawing people in to, you know, make these trades who might not necessarily be fully educated on the topics, and they're really complex.
Super complex. It's why they need to be watching Options Crash Course.
Yeah, don't I know
Dr.
it?
Jen.
I try to explain these episodes every week, and I'm at a loss for words. I'm like, I don't know, just watch the show. Like,
I mean, I feel like options trading is a very complex subject,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of people. I thought it was interesting. There was the Wall Street Journal article this week that was talking about the rise of options trading and how there's over $890 billion in options trading
yeah,
in the month of October.
that's nuts.
It's the most ever,
Yeah.
and it was actually more than the stock market.
Whoa! I mean,
So I think it's really interesting that it's certainly, and most of it was actually within tech stocks. So they were saying Apple, Amazon, Tesla. That's where people are putting their money
that makes sense.
within these options
Right.
because they are kind of all on the upswing and a little bit volatile right now.
Right.
So you can make a lot of money within the options trading by betting on them.
Right.
But
But it's like gambling.
Yeah.
But now they're putting out apps, so it's so easy and accessible to people, and they're offering some free, you know, incentives as well. Sometimes no commission, but not for the options,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Which I didn't understand and wasn't really laid out clearly in the article, and maybe that was on purpose. Maybe they don't want us to know that. I don't know.
Well, it is interesting. Most brokerages have gone to no commission for your normal trades
And some free stocks as well.
and free stocks, but with options trading, they still collect a commission.
Right.
So there's more incentive for these brokerage firms to actually have more options trading happen because they're generating more money.
They're getting
off
a
of
return from
every
it.
single trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I even have some friends that have downloaded these apps with these companies, and they're having fun.
Yeah.
It's sort of addictive, I think. You know, it's a bit like gambling, right?
For me, I feel like options trading is very much in that vein where you're like, you might know, I don't know, it just feels much more along the lines of sports gambling where you're like, I know enough information that this team should win by this amount of points, but it's really still like, you don't know.
Right. Well, okay, there is... So I read the article about the boy a year ago who actually ended up taking his own life because he signed up on one of these apps with a company, and he made some trades and believed that he was negative almost $800,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And thought there was no way out. He thought he ruined his financial future, and you know, he wrote a letter, an angry letter to the company, feeling like they took advantage of him in a way. And so that really shows you how it may look easy and fun, and there may be some incentives that are drawing you in, but if you don't know the ins and outs of how all of this works, it can be really dangerous.
It was so sad that I remember reading that article when it first came out because
Yeah.
it was in June of 2020. It was a 20-year-old man who was home from college. He decided, like a lot of people, they had extra time on their hands. I was not one of them, but a lot of people who didn't have children at home felt like they had more time, and a lot of people got involved in the stock market. And these apps, you know, apparently there's confetti that goes off when you make a trade. So there is like this gamification of
Absolutely, right.
trading these days. And
It's like Candy Crush, right? They know exactly what they're doing when you win. It's just like a party. And you're
Right?
like, oh,
I'm the best.
yes. Endorphins, you know?
Exactly. But so sad, like such a sad story that he thought he had ruined his life at 20 years old
Yeah.
because of this debt. And it turns out that he may or may not have actually owed all that money because of the way that options trading and the way he was doing this bull throughput system, which I cannot exactly explain it to you. I understood it within the article.
Yeah, I'm already impressed that she was able to repeat that. Well done.
But the way he was offsetting his trades where
Yeah.
he should be making enough money but not covering what he would be liable for. So he shouldn't have been, his balance sheet showed
What
more,
he saw wasn't necessarily
right, which is,
representative of what was going on.
Yeah.
Which is even more
it's even more tragic.
devastating.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I couldn't even imagine being the parents and not understanding, you know, not knowing that this is what your son is doing home from college during a pandemic, you know, trying to make money because he probably couldn't go out and get another job anyway, even if he wanted to.
Right.
And he's probably taking classes and doing this on the side.
Right.
But to your point, not quite understanding the ramifications and necessarily the nuances of what's going on.
Right. I mean, making something that's really complex easier for people to draw them in isn't necessarily the best way of doing it unless you have a training program as well within that app, which maybe they should do. Did I just think of something? I think, hey, Dr. Jim, you need to get in on this. I feel like this is
I think we know somebody.
yeah. They really should. They should like have a whole like a training session before. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't have any of these apps, so I don't really know how it's set up. But according to the article, it certainly made it look like they draw you in with, oh, we'll throw in some free stocks, no commissions, easy to use app right on your phone. Just log in and there you are. So, you know, I'm not sure. I can't speak on personal experience because I've not done it. Do you have any of these?
Not on my phone.
Okay.
It's a concept that I have a hard time with. I conceptually
What about your
understand it.
financial advisor husband? Does he toy around with these apps?
He doesn't toy around with the apps.
Okay.
He definitely understands the concept.
Yes.
So I understand the concept. I could not articulate it out to somebody.
Right.
That is my hard thing. So I'm
But here we are talking about it. While drinking wine, we are somehow talking about this.
Right?
But yeah. I mean, these were interesting articles for sure. And it is amazing the surge that has occurred this past month. I mean, that's a huge number.
Huge. I thought
What is it that is making people, I mean, do you think that is making people just like jump at this? Is it the incentives that are, you know, being thrown out there? Or is it something, you know, after the pandemic? What do you think it is?
I think it's a little bit of a twofold situation.
Yeah.
So I thought that the Wall Street Journal article had a really good point, and the fact that options trading magnifies either a bullish or bearish market. So
Yes.
depending on how people are feeling about the market, and people are feeling very bullish right now. So that's why there's an upswing in these options trading. I think it's a quicker way for people to make some money. So you don't necessarily have to hold on to your options contracts for an extended period of time,
Right.
or wait for the stock to really, go from, say you buy in at $50 for it to go up to $100 for you to make a 50% return.
Maybe it's just becoming more popular.
I think it's just becoming more popular.
Yeah.
It is available on these apps, so it's easier access.
Right.
So I think it's more about that than
Quicker money.
People always want to make a fast buck.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, everything now. It's like patience is not.
No. Instant gratification.
Yeah, it is all instant gratification in 2021. I mean, come on.
Which is why holiday is going to be tough for people.
That is so
Because shipping is going to be tough this year.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Okay, well, everyone start ordering your gifts now.
You really
Plan
should.
ahead.
You really should.
I haven't even.
I normally wait until like the second week of December.
Yeah.
But this year, I am like halfway done.
Yeah. That's amazing. Good for you.
Mostly because working in the retail industry, I understand how the supply chain is going to affect this holiday season.
Firsthand what's going on.
And so I'm just like, if I see something that I'm going to buy for somebody, I'm like, purchase it now. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to wait for it.
Right.
I also have a basement, so I can store things down there.
Basements are great, aren't they?
Man, there's so many.
When you go from apartment living to having a basement.
Or you move from California where people don't have basements.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's like not a thing.
Yeah.
And then you move across the country
We
and
have a
you're like,
basement.
we have a basement. And there's nothing else to do with it but storage because
Right.
it's kind of finished but kind of not.
Right.
So it's like a good in between.
Yep.
But it's a great space for storage.
I know. I love our basement. We're already accumulating too many things because we have the excuse of a basement.
Exactly.
We're like, oh, we have a basement. Just put it down there. No, it's too much. It's too much. Truly. So you've done well this year. You have paid off your college loans and you bought half of your Christmas presents by early November.
I haven't done my Christmas cards yet, which I have heard is also going to be impacted. Mostly because like UPS, the postal service.
And you do Christmas cards. I don't even do Christmas cards. We are the worst. I love them as well. And it's our first year with a baby. I want to do it, but
I started doing them after we got married.
Yeah.
Because I actually love getting them. And
Yeah,
I found
I do too.
that the more, if you give them out, you actually get them because people then have your address.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So
I always put people's cards in the tree. It's like part of our tradition, yet we're not sending them out. Give back. Come on.
And the company that I order mine from plants a tree for every order. So that's what I also really love that aspect.
All right. After this episode, you have to give me all these details.
I will.
Okay, good.
And they've got really cute designs. Like, I'm obsessed.
Oh, really?
And you upload your addresses, so they're pre-addressed. So all you have to do is put a stamp on it.
Oh, so there's no reason not to do it.
Oh man, it's so easy.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's so easy.
Maybe I'll start with like a small group of people. I think I get overwhelmed with the number of people that you feel like you have to send it out to and thinking of everyone. But maybe I'll just like start with like family.
Yeah.
And build from there.
There you go.
Thanks
Hopefully
for your
you don't
support.
have too big of a family.
I don't. That's the only reason I said it.
Ease your way into
it's not too overwhelming.
Tiptoes.
I can do this.
Tiptoes.
I can do this. Well, we have more to talk about, so don't leave just yet. All right.
Speaking of basements.
Speaking of basements, homes, everyone right now is in the market to buy a home. Houses are flying off the market in a week's time. I think they said that hasn't happened since 1989. So
Sometime in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, sometime in the 80s. And that could be due to the fact that, interest rates are at historical lows, or it's because people are moving after the pandemic. People are moving into bigger homes to accommodate in homeschooling, or some people have their family moving into their house for childcare and things. So they need more room for their parents or whoever.
And working from home, so
Yep.
they need an office space.
Yep. But also the price of homes has gone up, but they're still flying off the market because interest rates are so low.
Yeah.
And I saw this happen with our neighbor's house, which is totally comparable to the condition of our house and the size, number of bedrooms, bathrooms. We got ours for about $100,000 cheaper than what they sold theirs for within a week. Truly.
What?
And it was a full reno job house as well. Like, it needs to be renovated and everything. And we watched it happen. It flew off the market.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I was like, it's great for buyers and sellers because there's, perks to both sides, right?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting. We bought our house over 2 years ago, so before this market was happening. But we came from the Bay Area in California where this was the norm already. Houses went for 30% over asking.
Yeah.
You already had to have no contingencies and like cash offers. Otherwise, you basically weren't going to even get looked at by
And it's a bidding
the
war.
sellers. And it was a bidding war.
Yeah.
And so when we moved, we were talking to our real estate agent. We were between two houses and we were like, okay, we've decided we really like this one.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so how much over asking do we have to put in? Like, do we need the offer today?
Right.
And he was like, no, it's cool. It's a big purchase. Let's talk about it in a week. Like, think about it. And we were just like,
Like, why are you being so chill about this?
This is not what we're used to.
Right.
And he was like, come back, think what kind of offer you want to put in. John's like, okay, like 30% over ask. And our realtor was like, no, like that's not our market. So it's really interesting to see that. But subsequently, our housing market has changed. And it's definitely...
The housing market is ready for you to attack it.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad that we already have our house. We don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
But I have a next door neighbor and she's put in about 4 different offers on different properties.
Wow.
In Philly and the suburban area and has gotten beat out every single time.
I think people are leaving cities as well. They're fleeing the cities because if another pandemic occurs, which now we know it can happen, they don't want to be, stuck in a small apartment. And my husband and I, we had already been looking for a house before the pandemic happened, and we landed on the house that we wanted. Our offer was accepted, and the pandemic happened right then. And we thought, what are we doing? Like, we don't know what's going to happen with our jobs, and should we do this? I'm so glad we did because, we got our house at a great price.
Well, like you said, your neighbors went for $100,000 more.
Yes, we got it at a great price at a low interest rate still. Right. And, it was just the timing worked out perfectly. I'm so glad that we did it. And plus we got to ride out the pandemic with space.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other important thing.
Yes, we were in a 1-bedroom. We were for like the first month of that pandemic, and we appreciated the space.
I can only imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. It was really interesting in that article too, how there was that couple in the Utah area who had put in multiple offers and they ended up paying more than they had anticipated when they first started their search.
Right.
But the owner of the house, who they quoted in the article, was really happy that they had done it because their house is already appreciated by, like, I think he said $500,000 or so since they bought it.
Right.
And that is just, I mean, it's crazy.
It really is.
Buying houses, man.
I know.
It's no joke.
It is no joke. That's why you all have to tune into Mortgage Q&A with AJ, because he really breaks it down. And he breaks down what's relevant to right now. And that is super helpful. I got to do all those interviews with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did this happen now and not a year ago when I was buying my first home?
Yes.
What's going on? What's up with that universe?
He is such a wealth of information. It's great. And he's
like the mortgage wizard.
Right. He's one of those people who knows so much and he's able to break it down in a digestible way so that you understand, even though you don't live and breathe it. Like, he lives and breathes mortgages and refinancing and lending. But for those of us who don't, you could ask other mortgage lenders or banks or read about it on the internet and still not understand the concept. And he's just like, no, it's like this.
Yes, people know how to make these these topics incredibly confusing. And they really do. And he does show you that it's not necessarily that over your head.
Yeah, exactly.
We can have a conversation and we can break down what all of the,
jargon means.
The jargon means, because there is jargon.
Yep.
And if you're not like a part of that club, you don't know what's going on.
Nope. Exactly.
He welcomes you into the club. It's nice. It's nice to be welcomed in.
Exactly.
Well, I feel like we covered a lot of topics in a lot of different areas. Actually,
All over
we
the
were
place today.
all over the map. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
And some great wine.
Yeah, it's we've made,
Another nice Cabernet
we've made our way
Sauvignon.
through this nicely, as I can see
Yep.
here. Anyway, wow! Thank you so much for tuning in again to week 7 of the Wind Down. Yay! Hopefully we haven't scared you off, and you will be back next week for another episode. And I hope that you're enjoying a glass of wine with us, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.